The USS Liberty was sailing calmly, cutting through the blue waters of the Mediterranean, not far from the Sinai Peninsula. The morning seemed peaceful until the clock struck 9 a.m. local time. Without warning, the deafening sound of the ship's alarm shattered the silence. Captain William L. McGonigal rushed to the radar, his heart racing. On the screen, multiple fast-moving blips appeared, closing in at high speed. It didn't take long to realize these were fighter jets, flying low at around 5,000 feet, now only 2 miles away from the Liberty. Sensing imminent danger, McGonigal immediately contacted Admiral William Martin of the U.S. 6th Fleet. But time was running out. Before any orders could come through, the jets dived toward the ship and unleashed a barrage of gunfire straight at the USS Liberty. What was supposed to be a peaceful patrol suddenly turned into a nightmare at sea. The sudden attack claimed the lives of 9 crew members and left more than 70 others wounded, including Captain McGonigal himself, who was hit by bullets in his arm and thigh. Believing the assault came from Egyptian forces, McGonigal ordered his crew to return fire. A fierce exchange erupted in the open sea, and the situation escalated rapidly. Moments later, several torpedo boats approached the Liberty and joined the assault. One of their artillery shells slammed into the ship, followed by a salvo of 5 torpedoes. One of those torpedoes struck the Liberty with devastating force, triggering a massive explosion. The blast killed 25 more crew members, bringing the total death toll to 34 sailors. According to William D. Gerhard in Attack on the USS Liberty, 2009, most of the survivors suffered severe burns as a result of the explosion. The USS Liberty was on the brink of total destruction, barely staying afloat in the aftermath of the brutal attack. Amid the chaos, the attackers suddenly seemed hesitant. Those who were once certain they were striking an enemy target began to sense something was wrong. The ship they had been firing upon showed minimal resistance, unusual for a hostile warship. Minutes later, as one of the USS Liberty's lifeboats drifted closer, the attackers got a clear view. Painted on the side of the boat was the unmistakable emblem of the United States Navy. In that moment, the horrifying mistake became undeniable. The vessel they believed to be an enemy ship was, in fact, part of the U.S. Navy. And even worse, the attackers weren't enemies. They were Israel, one of America's closest allies. The Israeli military had no knowledge that the ship in question was part of a U.S. military intelligence operation. Their suspicion intensified on June 8, 1967, when reports surfaced of an attack against Israeli. Although President Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963 to 1969, accepted Israel's apology and the offer of financial compensation, the incident left deep scars. Many, including the families of the victims, believed the U.S. government was far too lenient toward Israel. For them, the USS Liberty tragedy was not just a tragic mistake, it was the first direct attack on a U.S. military vessel since World War II, 1939 to 19.
Whether you see Iran as a threat or a regional power defending its interests, one thing is certain: the Islamic Republic.
Although President Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963 to 1969, accepted Israel's apology and the offer of financial compensation, the incident left deep scars. Many, including the families of the victims, believed the U.S. government was far too lenient toward Israel. For them, the USS Liberty tragedy was not just a tragic mistake, it was the first direct attack on a U.S. military vessel since World War II, 1939 to 1945. From their perspective, had any other nation carried out such an attack, America's response would have likely been far more severe, possibly even leading to military retaliation. But in this case, political alliances, strategic interests, and diplomacy prevailed, leaving behind lingering anger, unanswered questions, and a legacy of mistrust that still sparks debate to this day.